Hello, and welcome to today's creator contract. No Smoking Hokkaido, set in Hokkaido and supplied to us today by yours truly. So moving on to our briefing, short and sweet, it's bad for your health. And moving on to our targets, and today we have 3 of them, along with a free map. So for today's challenge, we'll be starting at the default location. We're going to be bringing with us some coins, a Seeker 1 in a briefcase, and a silenced pistol. So right from the start and off the bat, we're going to crawl out of this comfy looking bed, and we are going to have to do ourselves a fair bit of running around and setup to start with. So first thing we're going to do is retrieve our Seeker 1 from the briefcase. We'll leave the briefcase behind, we don't need that. And then we're going to make our way up to the bathroom outside of the sushi bar. And in here we will deal with the permanent resident. There he is. So we're just going to quickly pounce on him, render him unconscious, and we are going to deposit him in the closet in the cubicle on the right, as the cubicle on the left is currently occupied. And we're going to wait right here, and we're going to snag or secure ourselves Akira, the hospital director. So he is currently down the ramp, engaged in a conversation, or has just finished a conversation with Yuki Yamazaki. Miss Yamazaki is one of our targets, and she is one that requires the most setup for this particular elimination. So once the hospital director gets to the top of the ramp, we are going to open the doors to the bathroom, throw a coin deep into the room. That will get Akira's attention, and when he comes in to investigate, we will be able to pounce on him, render him unconscious, and we're going to take his outfit and that fancy wig he's wearing. So we're going to deposit him in the closet along with the permanent resident of the bathroom, and then we can take his outfit, and if we are feeling extra special, we will collect up the coin currently lying on the floor out in the foyer. So from here on out, we've got a fair bit still to do. We need to go now to Yuki Yamazaki's apartment, and we need to deal with a couple of the guards in there at the very least. We also need a wrench, which we can find around at the loading dock area. So we're going to grab the wrench first of all, as we're going to need that. We're also going to need a propane cylinder, which is also in this general facility. So once we grab the wrench from the toolbox, we're going to make our way outside. We're going to ignore the cameras for the time being, as we will deal with them later on. And underneath the large snowcat, we will find a propane cylinder. So now that we have everything we need, we're going to make our way to Yuki Yamazaki's apartment, and we need to remove the 2 guards out on Yuki's balcony first of all. So we're just going to make our way back through the laundry department, out into the more public areas of the hospital and into Yuki's apartment. And the reason we have Akira's outfit is that we can just wander straight in. We do own the hospital after all. So we're going to make our way out onto the balcony, and we're going to use our Seeker 1 to make the guard nearest us sick. He will get sick and he will make his way to the bathroom, and we are going to intercept him in there as well. So we're just going to make our way to the bathroom nice and early. We're just going to drop this propane cylinder over in the corner of the room here, and when our friend joins us, we can render him unconscious, and we can hide him as best we can behind the partition we are leaning against right now. So here comes our friend, not feeling very well. So once that door closes, we're going to move in on him. I'm just going to reload my Seeker 1. We're going to be using that again shortly. So we're just going to render the guard unconscious. Don't forget to collect up the gun that he drops. We're going to deposit him around by the sink, and we need to tuck him in as best we can. This is sometimes easier said than done. Sometimes it works an absolute treat, like just now. So once we have one guard safely tucked up, we're going to make our way back out onto the balcony area, and we're going to deal with the other guard. So we need to make him sick, or we can drop him a weapon to collect. Making him sick is the easier of the two options. If we drop a weapon for him, we have to still pounce on him as he passes the bathroom. Easier said than done when there are still two more guards in the vicinity. So we're just going to make our way back to the bathroom, and very shortly we will be joined by the second guard from the balcony area. And when he joins us and the door closes, we can pounce on him, render him unconscious. We're going to deposit him with his colleague behind the partition around by the sink, and usually the second of the two guards is the more problematic one. But again, we've not really had too much of an difficulty with that. So now we're going to go back out onto the balcony for a third time, and we're going to use our wrench on the gas lamp. So that's all set up and ready for when Yuki arrives, but we need a reason for Yuki to go out onto the balcony and have a cigarette, and that means having a cigarette. So where do we get a pack of cigarettes from? Well, the only place I can think of, I think there are a couple of places we can get them. The nearest available one would be Amos Dexter's room, or Amos Dexter's apartment. So we're going to head straight there, as Mr. Dexter is in attendance and is just leaving. So we can kill two birds with one stone while we're here. So once Mr. Dexter leaves, we can make our way inside. We can grab the cigarettes from the side table, and we can place our propane cylinder out on the balcony of Amos Dexter's apartment. Somewhere just by this deck chair will do nicely. That will be perfect right there. We're going to put one hole in the propane cylinder. There we go. And that is all set up for Mr. Dexter a bit later on. So now we're going to make our way back to Yuki's apartment, and we are going to place the cigarette packet in her line of sight, so that when she returns back to her apartment, she will spot the cigarettes. She will go out onto the balcony to have a cigarette, and she will find that smoking is very bad for your health. So we're just going to place the box right here. Yes, I am trying to get into Yuki's good books. I want her to go out onto the balcony and enjoy a nice cigarette. What's wrong with that? So here comes Yuki as we speak, so we may as well just quickly hide ourselves away in the bathroom, and we'll just wait for Yuki to come into the area with her bodyguard. I'm not sure if either of them are enforcers. I would assume that Yuki for the most part isn't, because we do have to engage her in conversation every now and again. So once they've safely gone past and are into the apartment, we're just going to make our way out into the apartment as well. Looks like Yuki's personal bodyguard is not an enforcer, so we can walk around quite freely. And Yuki has found her cigarettes. She's now going to go out onto the balcony, and she is going to light up. So let's just get ourselves into a nice good position. It's a bit difficult to see as seen through the window at this obscure angle, but we should see well enough that Yuki will now go and stand by the gas lamp, and she will light her cigarette, and she will go for a short flying lesson all the way down the mountain. So that's one target down, one target all set up and ready. So that just leaves us with one final target to deal with. And we also still need to deal with the cameras. So we're going to make our way out now towards the morgue, and we can deal with our other target who we have yet to lay eyes on. and while we're there we can take care of the surveillance system. So we're going to cut through the kitchen and the staff quarters areas, just because it's the faster route. There is another camera here, but as we're on our way to destroy the evidence, it doesn't really matter if it spots us. So we're going to go straight into the morgue, and up here we will be able to take care of the surveillance system from a distance. So we're just going to enter into the morgue area. We're going to pull out our silenced pistol, crouch down, and we can then from here we can get a nice clear shot at the surveillance system in the security office. We're going to exit the morgue area as we're all done in here. We're going to make our way out onto the balcony area, and from here we will get a nice clear shot of the propane cylinder. So I'm going to use the wrench as we have one, but you can shoot it from a distance as well if you so wish. So in a few moments, the gardener from the helipad area will come down here for a cigarette. Now he also has a pack of cigarettes on him, so if you don't want to go and get Dexter's cigarettes, you can come to this guy next and get his pack. But we grabbed Dexter's because Dexter was right at his apartment as we were passing. So the gardener will make his way down here eventually, and he will light his cigarette and he will blow himself clean into the ceiling. He doesn't travel very far because he's in a nice little tight alcove there, but he will eliminate himself and wipe himself off of the map. There he goes. So 2 targets down, 1 more to go, and obviously our final target is Amos Dexter. So we're just going to make our way straight to his apartment. Now I can see on the mini-map that he is not currently in the area. He is currently in the sushi bar, which means that he's got a few minutes, or a couple of minutes at the very least, before he returns to his apartment. So we're just going to wait outside the door here for him to come along. And once he's finished in the sushi bar and made his way and hung around outside of the toilets outside the sushi bar for a short while, he will return to his apartment. He will go straight out onto his balcony, and we are going to follow him at a discreet distance. Now he does smoke, obviously, as we stole his cigarettes, but he doesn't actually smoke out on the balcony there. He will just lean over the edge. So we are going to have to give him a little incentive to get down the mountain. So once he leans on the balcony, we're just going to eliminate him with a shot to the propane cylinder, and he gets quite a bit of height there on his way back down to terra firma. So with all of our targets now dealt with, all that's left for us to do is to make good our escape, and the nearest available safe exit will be the cable car exit. So we're just going to make a beeline for the central ramp, and once we get down to the bottom we can exit via the cable car, and on our way down the mountain we can watch all the distant fireworks. So there we go, one more creator contract taken care of, and once we get back down to terra firma we will get confirmation that all of our targets were eliminated according to plan, although that was a lengthy plan. We had no objectives to worry about, and in turn that will gain us a silent assassin rating. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.